Welcome to Sound Yoga Seated Flow with Lillipod, starting in all fours position, where we go into a cat flow. Marjaryasana and Bitilasana. Marjaryasana is the cat, Bitilasana is the cow. Please feel free to do that for a few more rounds to warm up the spine. Then we come into tucking the toes under, sitting on the heels to prep for Garudasana arms. Before we go anywhere, make sure to stay contained through the torso, align the spine, and come into a little bit of an extension on the inhale, and on the exhale into a flexion. Pulling the elbows gently in and up to engage Uddiyana Bandha if that feels comfortable for you, if this is part of your practice. You seeing me here connect inwardly as I move to the other side. So I prep by engaging bandhas, aligning the spine, prepping the spine, and then breathing into an inhale to open, exhale into flexion. From here, we're going to inhale to lengthen and come into a modification of Ustrasana. We keep the toes tucked in, quite deep on the back bending. So please amend and modify if necessary, lifting the heart center tremendously towards the heavens. And then if you want to, you can move into the classical version here, lifting the heart and really sending the hips forward and up as much as possible. Alternating, bringing one arm back, then the other. With breath, never holding your breath, ever, ever, ever. Easy does it. Easy and gentle on the body, listening to what's needed all the time. Balasana, child's pose, to integrate the work we just done. Breathing to the lower back, especially, and the hips. Resting, if you want to, the forehead, head on some pillows or blankets. From here, moving into the gate pose, Badigasana, stacking the hips and the shoulders, great opening for the side body. Anyone that does any running or any active sports, this whole sequence is fantastic for people that are doing this kind of stuff. So you might want to warm up before you do the sequence. I highly recommend you to. So from the classical Parigasana, we're going to move to the other side. Balance it out, balancing out the energies left, right, and up and down. Resting in between. Then coming to the other side. Prepping it up, sitting it up. Parigasana, stacking shoulders, hips. Make sure there's not a dip on the lower back. Coming to side half bend. Breathing strongly into the side body. Making sure the extended leg is slightly bent. Then we revolve it, Parvrita, to the other side. Parallel, leg to the earth and the arm as well. We bring it back to see how far I'm bringing that foot back to allow for balance. And then a slightly mini back bend as you reach back and look back. You can't really see it there, but I'm reaching back. Balasana, rest. Allowing for integration, rest, breathe. It is important between each and every pose to allow for the body to sink into where it's needed. From there, we move into a nice seated pose where we're doing great sequence for the hips. This pose, Kruchanchasana, classically, the leg that's not being extended or stretched, is usually tucked behind so the foot is pointing back. Really allowing for the sit bones to grow into the earth like roots and then crown to sky. Bring the leg as close as you can towards you, then out to the side for an inner thigh stretch. Foot is flexed in both legs, especially the leg that's extended. Then across to the other side. Making sure I'm adjusting there, making sure the hips are in alignment. Sending the right hip russet bone to the earth, and then twisting across to the other side. The foot of the extended leg is internally rotated. From here we go into the fire log, also known as double pigeon. There's no better stretch for the hips than this one. So please take it easy. We're doing 3 different ways. First, we set it up, allow for the body to sink into the stretch. Breathe into the hips. Allow for the third eye and head to rest on pillows or blankets if you wish. Stay there. Then into a slightly deeper version where we are actually engaging the lower bandhas, Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. Deep flexion of the back, and Jalandhara Bandha also active if you're comfortable and it's part of your practice. Then we melt. We allow for everything to sink into the earth again so that we can get all the benefits. That's the only way. Just like Shavasana at the end, we need to allow rest. From here into a half Lord of the Fishes pose, a seated half twist. The leg that is underneath can also be extended. We twist from the lower belly, lower part of the spine. Inhales, always lengthen the spine. Exhaling, twisting. Do this about 3 rounds on each side. Soften face, neck, shoulders, and really twist from the lower belly. Make sure you counterbalance and twist to the other side. This is super important in our yoga practice, is to counterbalance. From here we move to the other side by just keeping the feet totally stacked on the earth, lifting back and twisting to the other side, and voila, you're on the other side. Starting with Krunchasana, hero's pose. Extend the leg nice and close to the chest, soft micro bends through the knee that's been, or the leg that is being extended, foot flexed, looking upward or looking at the toes, soft shoulders, the hips are stable. And the reason why I like to do it this way is because having the leg in this way, the leg that's relaxed, is getting into the hip rather than having the knee flex and the foot behind. This is a much deeper opening for the hip. We all need more opening for the hip, or hips rather. They're slightly different. So we go into our twist on either side, at least 3 breaths on each side, and then we move into the fire log. Agni Stambhasana. First we set the tone, we see where we're at, we check in with our hips especially. This is what we're mainly stretching here. And then we sink into the breath. The breath always guides the movement, always will tell us how we're doing inside. It's like the thermostat. If the breath is fast, it's because we're moving too much, or rather, we're pushing too much. Into the flexion, active bandhas, stretching across the chest and shoulders, pectoralis major and deltoids, and activating the main bandhas if available, and then melting. This practice is somewhat yin if you stop the video and just stay for at least 5 minutes if you have the time. Into our seated half pose, Ardha Matsyendrasana. Make sure that you're not dipping or tipping into the hips on either side, that there's complete synchronicity from left and right. Soft face, shoulders, neck, binding if available. How's the breath? How's the twist? Are you letting go of your mind? Try to not think here. Not necessary. We leave thoughts and ego behind at the door. Then we counter twist. You rotate to the other side. Big breaths here. And then the next 2 postures are a perfect example of counterbalancing. Upward plank pose, Budvottanasana, lifting the hips. Notice I'm locking my right elbow. Soft through both elbows, open the fingers wide, internally rotate the legs and point the toes. Stay for at least 5 breaths, then getting the fleshy part of your gorgeous gluteus maximus and minus out of the way so you can really allow for the sit bones to sink and fall forward into Paschimottanasana. 4 different ways you can hold it here with the arms. Do what's best for you today. Making sure the legs are internally rotated, the feet are flexed. I love that dog running across the shot. Classically, we stay here for at least 10 breaths. Now we breathe and meditate.